Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and on this episode we're walking in Memphis. Topic of this Walking in Memphis, CWA Wrestling from May 28th, 1988. Now before we get into it, there are a couple things. First off, if you want to watch the video I reviewed, it'll be down here in the description. Secondly, if you haven't seen any of my videos before, I grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. For Walking in Memphis, we basically go from commercial break to commercial break. Each segment gets its rating with everything involved in there. With that being said, let's jump right into it. First off, we start the show with Jerry Jarrett talking about the Renegade Rampage and the ongoing point system they have going. And then coming up, there's going to be a 3-ring battle royal where basically you start in the first ring. If you're eliminated, you go to the second ring. If you get eliminated there, you go to the third ring. The winner of the first ring battle royal gets 75 points, the winner of the second ring's battle royal gets 50, and the winner of the third gets 25. Not only that, but for the 9 matches on the card, they're going to have 3 matches going on at a time, 1 in each ring. This was a concept which I wish I would have seen how it played out live, and depending on how they configured the rings, there had to be some people this absolutely sucked for, especially if you're looking at it, let's say they're all 3 in a row. If you're on one side and you have to look through all 3 rings to see the 3 matches, you're barely going to see what's going on match 2 or 3. Interesting concept. I don't know that the idea is as great as it may have came out to be. Maybe it was awesome. Maybe if someone was there or seen something similar, you could put down in the comments if you liked what they did. But yeah, very interesting. They do show the top 10 rankings of the Renegade Rampage. At the end, someone's going to win $250,000. This was a good segment. My one gripe with it would be that it went a little bit long. I think it took 13 minutes of the show up. Because of that, I got to mark it down a little bit. I'm giving this one a 3. Thought it was good. I like the ideas. I like the concept. I like that they're updating the fans with the standings. But again, because of the length, I have to take it down a notch. Next up, we get an interview with Billy Joe Travis and Scott Steiner, a very young Scott Steiner here. The two of them have formed a tag team, and Travis is basically the mentor for Scott Steiner. This leads right into a match. Steiner and Travis versus Rough and Ready, a masked team. The match is going in Steiner and Travis's way until the Cuban Assassins hit the ring and attack Steiner and Travis, thus causing a disqualification. They pick up the win by a DQ. That's followed up by a taped promo from Max Payne talking about he's the leader at the Renegade Rampage and he's already got plans to buy a Corvette with the money. Pretty good promo altogether. A good segment, seeing Scotty Steiner out there very young. All in all, I think this was a good segment. I'm giving it a 4. Next up, we get an interview with Jeff Jarrett, who's talking about what he would do if he wins the money. That's followed up with a match with Robert Fuller versus Doug Dancing. If you're not familiar with Robert Fuller, he would go on to be Colonel Robert Parker in WCW just a few years later. This is a pretty good match. Not much of anything, to be honest with you, just a way to put Fuller over. For that, I'm giving that segment a 3. Then we come back to another interview with Billy Joe Travis. That's followed up with highlights with Robert Fuller from the week previous, where he attacks Jeff Jarrett, Keith Eric, Tom Brandi, Don Harris, all before Jeff Jarrett comes back to run him off. He had made several attacks during the show. That brings us back into another Billy Joe Travis interview. Next we have Jeff Jarrett and Tom Brandi going up against the Cuban Assassins. Cuban Assassins are managed by Brickhouse Brown. This match doesn't get too far before Fuller comes out and hits Jarrett upside the head with a bottle, thus getting DQ'd. For that, I'm going to give this one a 4. That's followed up by a tape promo for Gary Young, who's talking again about the Renegade Rampage. I love that they have the continuing, ongoing theme throughout this. That's followed up by a short interview with Brickhouse Brown. Then we go to what should have been match 2 of the 2 out of 3 fall match, except Jarrett can't continue, so Billy Joe Travis takes his spot. Him and Tom Brandi go up against the Assassins. That ends when Brickhouse Brown gets involved, giving Travis and Brandi the win. Overall, good, but it started to be repetitive that heels kept cheating in these matches. I'm giving that a 3. There's some pros and cons to the show. I did enjoy seeing a young Scott Steiner, obviously a young Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller close to being at his peak of his career. But the cons are it did get a little repetitive. The promo in the very beginning was long. They could have wrapped that up in 5 minutes and said the same exact thing. Overall, I think it was a little bit of a dragging show, in my opinion. It drug a bit. I'm giving it a 3. I thought it was good. Not great, to be honest with you. With all that being said, if you made it to the end here, let's smash that like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. And if you notice over there's a button that says join. You can become a member. It definitely helps out the channel. If you'd like to become a member, click that. It'll show you what you get. And if you made it all the way to the end, throw a Tennessee stud up in the comments for Robert Fuller. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and we've been walking in Memphis.